Oh, it is so great to have you listening on a Friday. It's going to be a fun time Friday. This nothing but fun. We're nothing but... What did we do? This week, we made a memory. All right? We changed some minds. And then yesterday, we made history. Okay? Today, we take flight. That's all I can say. I mean, what else is there, you know? We have hot takes and so forth. I just said I had a take on guns because...
Kill the music.
Oh, no. We've done this many, many times through the years.
And there goes Fun Time Friday.
Well, see...
It lasted 30 seconds.
We're at the 30-second mark of this program. I just said a minute ago I had a take. I just popped into my head on guns. Because next week we have a gun and knife prize to give away. There's like a gun and knife show in the area. And we give it away from time to time. And Biggie was just saying, man... When we give that away, that is a prize that people love to get. Gun and knife. We just love guns and knives.
We do.
As Americans, we love guns and knives. There's a comedian I saw not long ago that just says, why don't we just say it? We love our guns, you know. I guess people do say it, you know. They put on social media how much they love their guns. And we watch this show now. My wife and I watch this show called Slow Horses, which I am recommending to Biggie. And it's very good. I'm caught up. It's 4 seasons so far.
Wow.
Yeah, just caught up. It's only 6 episodes per season. They're roughly an hour. Yeah, it's about an hour, 45 minutes, you know. One of those. Great, really great show. But it's set in England. It's about MI5 officers who take out criminals. And anyway, it's very, very good. And it's one of those, too, that I have to have explained to me along the way. My wife has to say, well, this is happening now.
Oh, really?
So it's one that you have to pay attention to.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I almost define TV now. Is can I scroll my phone during it, or do I have to watch?
You got to watch.
Okay.
This one for sure.
Yeah.
You definitely have to watch. Plus, I have to turn on the subtitles because they have...
It's British English.
It's British English. And that one never sits quite well with me. I need to see it. A lot of times I see what they're going to say just before they're going to say it. So it's like, he's getting ready to say something. You know, I read it. It's about a second before they actually say it.
Do they, when they do subtitles of British English, do they do it, they spell it in a way that Americans understand it, or would they do it for the way Brits would?
Americans. This is
okay.
Netflix America.
Yeah. Are there English swear words and phrases you're not familiar with?
Bollocks.
Probably every episode.
Bollocks, bloody. This, you know,
Okay. Yeah. He knows.
Nothing big. But they do just put on the screen what they're saying. Oh, and remember yesterday I said it's date. This is so predictable for me and my wife. You know, I said it was date night.
Sure.
Yeah.
Going out for a fish meal.
Nice place. New place.
Hadn't been.
New to you, I should say.
Yes.
Last thing I said as I walked out the door yesterday was enjoy your date and dinner.
When you said that, I thought 50-50 that happens. 50-50. So, my wife and I are watching the final episode of Slow Horses at about 4:45 in the afternoon. That's dinner time now. That's getting close to dinner.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, as it starts,
Do we have a reservation?
No.
Are you just going to do the walk-in?
Yeah. Well, we always go like 5:15. So, you know, it's not like...
The cooks are still out back smoking.
Yeah.
Somebody's here? Is that a car?
They're still setting the tables.
Did somebody just pull in the parking lot? Yeah. So about 4:45.
Turn on the stove.
4:45. She says, "You want to fire up the last episode of Slow Horses and finish it up here the last season or this season?" And I said, "Well, we're getting ready to go to dinner now, aren't we?" And she goes, "Do you really want to do that?" And I said, "Oh, up to you. Up to you."
What did your heart say deep down inside?
Oh, I did not want to go.
Yeah.
I wanted.
You were happy where you were.
Absolutely.
But listen, you passed the test.
I think so.
Yeah, because the test was whether you really want to go or not.
And I said, "Oh, I'm up for anything, but whatever you." I said, "Whatever you want to do. If you want to stay here." She said, "Yeah, I'll make myself a box of mac and cheese." I said, "All right." So that's what we did. She had a box of mac and cheese. I had some spring mix with oil.
Mac and cheese and chard, and you had a spring mix.
Yeah.
Separately.
Of course. Yeah.
Sitting there, just happy as clams, though, watching Slow Horses, you know.
So that was date night.
Yeah. That was kind of a regular date night, you know.
Ironically, the name of the show matched the evening.
Slow Horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess so.
I don't think I've told you guys this, but I know the restaurant where you were planning to go. Not long ago, my wife and I had dinner with some friends this is maybe 2 weeks ago, and we had dinner with some friends at a restaurant across the street from it. Really nice place.
Yes.
Owner's spectacularly nice, fantastic cook.
At the different place.
Yeah, Gia.
Yeah. Oh, I know Gia.
So we walk into the restaurant, and my wife had made a reservation for 4. It was under her name. So we walk in on time. Our table is ready. Well, shortly after we're seated, the owner comes over and says, "Are you guys early?" I said, "I don't think so. My wife made a reservation for 6:30 p.
Yeah.
And it was 6:30 p.
Yeah.
Well, he showed me his reservation book, and it said, "I got you down here at 7:45.
Oh, really?
Under the name Chris Kelly.
Or us. Or what? Oh. Wait a minute.
And
now.
I said,
wait a minute now.
"You got the wrong Chris."
It wasn't me. You think I want to eat at 7:45?
There
at
no way.
night?
No way.
You think I'm going? No. When
No.
you said 6:30, I thought that is late. Woo.
Yeah.
Man. A few things. First of all, no owner of any restaurant has ever talked to me ever.
No.
Not one. When you always say the owner is wonderful, I say, how do you know? I never know anything about any owner of any restaurant.
Only time the owner has said anything to me is, "You're going to have to pay for that chair."
You met the owner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met the owner.
Yeah.
Oh, the owner's wonderful.
So he could not have been more apologetic. He said, "Oh, my God, I'm so sorry." He said, he had Chris Kelly down. And
Wait a minute.
he said he's booked the library room. And I went, I cannot imagine the Chris Kelly I know had booked the which is a private dining area.
Oh, no.
And so our meal, well, we stretched out. We were there for 2.5 hours, had a couple bottles of wine.
There's another thing. I'm never there longer than 30 minutes. I wolf it down. Usually the server is like, "Oh, my God, are you done already?" Yes, we're done. Move it. Let's go.
Did you want more?
Check, box, dessert, go.
Let's go. Yeah, I never like to. I'm 2 hours. Oh, my God.
No.
Now you're at 8:30 at night.
Easily.
Oh, God.
So then at the end of our night, we're getting our check, and the owner is getting ready to go home.
Yeah.
His team can close the restaurant. That's what you do. And I said to him, "So did Chris Kelly ever show up?" He goes, "He never showed."
Oh.
Huh.
Oh. Is someone...
Which is kind of rude.
Well,
Yeah.
it is rude. Wait a minute. Is someone...
Somebody's using your name to get good tables at good restaurants
and not showing up?
Well,
That's disparaging
a
on me.
ding in your rating.
That's a ding. That's
yeah.
right.
If somebody's doing this, though, I feel like they've probably confused the two of you, because
Yeah.
they think Chris Kelly's the one
Yeah.
who, is kind of the foodie about town, but they don't realize it's actually Chris Demm, so they're booking under the wrong name.
100%. Or they're trying to somehow ding my reputation. Listen, I'll say to any restaurant owner in town, if my reservation is later than 5:15, that's not me.
You've been scammed.
Yeah, that's not. In fact, I don't make a reservation. We walk in.
Yeah.
Either we don't go to restaurants that need
That
a
have hosts or reservations.
or it's early. In fact, the last time I sat down at a restaurant where you don't have to go through the counter to get whatever you're getting was probably last year about this time when we went to our celebratory.
That dinner?
That was the last dinner I sat
Okay.
in. That's right. We just don't,
Y'all just don't.
we just hover over a box of mac and cheese.
Y'all just don't.
That's what we do. I have a spring mix. My wife has a box of Kraft, and we're happy. We're watching slow horses here. That's right.
Yeah.
I just read a hot food take that boxed mac and cheese is better than restaurant mac and cheese. The Kraft or
Better in what way?
tastes better. People like it better. We'd rather you just serve us Velveeta shells and cheese or Kraft. Now my kids always say that. If I make Kendra's macaroni and cheese recipe, they prefer, which is delicious, they prefer Kraft or Velveeta shells and cheese with the cheese pouch.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never get the secret recipe of that cheese pouch. You go to your grave trying.
The first thing is sodium.
Will Secretary Kennedy take care of that?
He might.
Will he bring an end to your beloved mac and cheese?
It's possible. Mac and cheese night, that's a possibility, yes. Well, I'm really concerned about this person stealing my reputation. I'll just say that. That will ding, as you said, my reputation.
Yeah.
What if this person going around is tipping really well? That'll make you more mad.
No, yeah, then they'll...
What if it has the opposite effect? It improves your reputation around with restaurants. So when you actually do go out to eat,
Crazy.
Wow.
they expect
A better
you
tip.
to tip.
But you got to show up. You can't just not show up for a res.
That's
I
true.
would never do that. I haven't sat at a restaurant where you had to tip Because, last year when we had that celebratory dinner, it was our 25th show anniversary dinner, and the radio station picked up the tab and may have picked up the tip as well. I don't remember if I tipped there. The last time I tipped a server
was in calendar year 2002-4.
No, I don't think so. Because that's no.
Oh, you're right. It was 23.
Maybe
you must have.
Did I go out to dinner in 23?
Well, you were eating then, right? Or were you not?
I may have been eating. Now I went to Gia, but that was probably 22. And
22.
22,
yeah.
And then they were closed in 20 and 21.
Yeah.
A lot of it may have been 21 when I was over at Gia. That's when I was. That's a heavy carb place that I'm not on carbs and haven't been for a time. I don't know. I don't know the last time I tipped at a restaurant.
When did you become annoying? Let me see.
Well, I mean, in a new way.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
I mean, the pandemic really drove me inside.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I always give my order to the person standing behind a register.
Mhm.
You know?
Or tap an app.
Tap an app.
Here, set this number on your table. We'll bring it to you.
That's my game. All that being said, let me give you my take on guns.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we're watching Slow Horses, which takes place in England. And in season 4, there's an episode. Now, this is this type of show. There's an episode where a guy who works for MI5 is being transported from one place to another, and a criminal is going to block him and take him. They're gonna kidnap him. Well, he's being guarded by 4 armed guards. So the guy who takes him, and you've seen this move in movies and TV shows before, smashes into the side of the car. They're out of control. Comes out, guns blazing, bam, 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 rips people out of the car. There's like shooting all over the place. Then he takes the hostage, okay, and moves him to someone else's car and says, get out of the car, to the guy, who's driving it, just a citizen.
Just a citizen.
Yeah. Puts him in the trunk, drives off. Okay. Well, I mean, you've seen that type of thing in movies before. I said to my wife, if this were the United States, there'd be regular people strapping. They'd be shooting back at him if it were a real thing, because people have their guns in their cars in the United States. In England, I don't think they do.
No, England's very anti-gun, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
So I said, that's the argument. I mean, if this were a real thing, it's just a show.
Yeah.
But I said, if this were a real thing, that would be where Americans would make the argument. If he were doing that, there'd be 5 people, because there were traffic
It'd be a
all
crossfire.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would be a crossfire. I said, there may be innocent people getting shot. There'd be more
That's
bullets.
gonna
There'd be more bullets in the air, but he would not just drag this guy into a car without being shot at by somebody who just had a gun. I mean, I remember we just heard that guy last week who got shot by accident by the cop who was putting him in handcuffs. Yeah. Or no, it wasn't even handcuffs. He had like a parking light out.
Yeah. No, he ran the
stop.
The guy had run a red light.
Yep.
He told the officer who'd pulled him, I have a weapon in my my pants. So the officer was taking him out of his vehicle. He called for backup, and another cop tried to grab his gun.
Mindy.
Officer Mindy, unfortunately, shot the citizen in his leg with his own gun.
That's right.
Right in the hip.
That's right. Shot him in the hip. And the guy's like, I'm hit. And now he's trying to sue, which, at least Lanier commented on it. This must have been a week ago. And our official attorney, and she said, well, cops are given a lot of latitude. It was not intentional, of course. She's been removed from her position, poor Officer Mindy. But the poor guy is going to walk with a limp.
He got a
now.
limp.
And he said, yeah, I got a gun. And they asked right up front, you got anything in the car? Yep, got a gun on me.
Yeah, he was very open about it.
Oh, yes. See, I guess cops always say, anything crazy in the car? That's what he said. Anything crazy in the car I need to know about? The guy said, I got a gun in my pants. I bet they get that answer more than half the time. I got a gun.
Yeah.
There's
and they always say, too, listen, be honest with me up front. We'll make this a lot easier.
Yes, exactly.
Is it mostly weapons or the drugs they're talking about?
Both.
I think both.
Because, Biggie, I know you watch the live cop shows.
Yes. How many have guns or drugs in the car?
A lot.
I figured. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
But they're not being pulled over for that. They're being pulled over for something
a lot
else.
of times. That's why I'm always shocked at how many criminals don't keep up with their registration.
I know.
And simple things like your lights.
Yeah.
That's how it always starts, too, is it's like, well, I'm pulling you over because your registration's expired.
Yes.
And then they find the drugs.
Is that a garbage can bag full of weed?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Is that a machine gun?
That really, I'll tell you, too, that
Yeah.
always gets me is when they're carrying like thousands of pounds of weed or drugs, and they can't even pay the registration.
Tail light out.
You gotta take care of that.
To me, the smartest, there's got to be a few smart drug dealers out there who just always keep up with the registration, their car maintenance, and go no more than 5 over.
Maybe that's like a job for somebody. Like the drug dealer hires
Sensible mules?
Yes.
Yeah.
A sensible mule. Look.
Common sense mules.
I'm going to drive a minivan that's always going to be up to date on its registration.
I won't get pulled for any moving violation whatsoever. I stop at yellows. I come to a complete stop at 4-way stop signs. I wave kids across in front of me.
Yes. All right, here's a great question for you. Biggie, you watch the live cop shows. Let me ask both of you. Right now, when somebody's driving a car, there's a million cars on the road.
Yep.
Inside the car, more weed or guns? Woo.
I'm going to lean guns.
Oh, I was going to lean weed.
Were you?
Yeah, because it's so common now. You know that
It is.
Yeah.
You mean in the United States?
Yeah, let's say U.S. only.
I think it's weapons.
You think?
I'm actually going to tell you, I see more it's weed.
You do.
think it's weed?
And a lot of the cops just say, just give it to me now. If it's a little bit,
don't worry about it.
we're just going to throw it out.
So that's personal weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Normally it's personal weed. Now, if it's a big weed,
We're not talking transport.
Yeah, I'm saying personal weed.
That's why they always say, like we were just talking about, say, I smell it. Just tell me now if it's, and a lot of times it's somebody who's like, I was scared. I didn't want to tell you. But then they find just like a little roach in the car or just a tiny bit.
Yep. Okay.
What's that? Do you cup holder, boss?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You got
well, and
me.
to me, I think the smartest thing ever was the police dog. Because, they're like, well, I'm going to bring the dog out, go around the car. And then the dog goes around. And even if the dog doesn't do anything, they're like, yeah, dog hit on the scent.
Oh.
Now I can search your car.
Oh, man.
But, the dogs, I think they're supposed to sit or something. But if you're just watching, you don't know what the...
Yep.
You don't know what it is. They could just lie to you and be like, yeah, the dog hit on the scent.
Exactly. Uncle Demm, you're talking about guns in cars. This is my observation. I think America, we have a lot of guns in cars. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't mess with the puppy wagon, the canine. But every country boy I've ever been with says throw the gun on the dash as soon as you get pulled over.
Yep, right. That's it.
That's smart.
That's what the guy last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he had it in his pants, but he said
He
up
was
front.
up front.
He's up front. I have a gun. He wound up getting shot for his
Thanks,
stroll by
Uncle.
accident. Thank you, Uncle Demm. Appreciate that. That one time, I think I've relayed this to you before. Someone pulled a prank on me and put weed in the wheel well of my. And boy, that was a harrowing moment.
I think this might be a new one.
Well, let me relay it. Brett, you're talking about driving with the drugs. Go ahead.
Yeah, P1 and Britt here. It's funny that y'all said that because me and my wife were watching one of the cop shows last weekend, and I told her if I had warrants, drugs, guns in the car, I'm doing a 30-minute top-to-bottom inspection of that car every time before I leave, making sure everything's working properly. I'm probably even pulling over halfway through my trip to check the stuff.
Exactly.
Yes.
I totally,
Use your turn signals.
totally agree with you. That's common sense.
Common sense muling.
Thank you, Britt. Really appreciate that. He's totally on our
We'll get
side.
your drugs there.
Yes, we will get it there. Common sense muling.
Yeah.
We're going a couple.
We'll
of
get your contraband where it needs to go.
We're not going 100 miles an hour, and we're going to use.
Do we
our
have a
turn.
trunk full of weapons? Yes.
Yes.
Are the serial numbers filed off?
Yes.
But they'll get to
Weird's going.
the buyer.
D, you're talking about guns in cars. Go ahead.
What's up, guys? It's D. You know what? Black people listen to Except for James.
Yes, sir.
Look, the whole put the gun on the dashboard, it never works. As a registered gun owner, you have a card that's exactly the same size as your license. When I get stopped, I put that on top of my license. That's the first thing they see. The officer's like, okay, where is it? I'm glad you showed me that. He's like, you know what? Since you were that honest, don't worry about what I stopped you for.
No kidding. Well, that's a nice thing, isn't it?
That's different.
I've got a gun. Here's my card.
Especially for a black guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the guy that got shot was a black guy, and he said up front, hey, boss man, you got me. I do not. You're in control here. And the cop was really nice, too, but then the female cop.
I'm not going to shoot you with my gun.
Right.
But I will shoot you with your own.
She is.
Mindy.
She's going to shoot you with your own. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer? You want me to shoot you or her to shoot you with yours? Well, just a hip shot.
And if I recall, The cop was real like, yeah, here you go, Mitty. He's been great.
Yeah, he did.
He's been up front.
Compliant.
Totally compliant.
Yeah, really good.
Just reach in there and
guy.
grab it, Mindy.
Yeah. Just go ahead and grab that gun, Mindy. Bling.
Bam. And down he went. Anonymous, you're talking about guns in cars. Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking from someone who used to work in a 911 call center, whenever the cop pulls you over, the first thing they do is radio all your vehicle information, your license plate to the 911 call center, and they can pull up whether or not you've got a concealed carry permit or not.
Oh.
So if you do have the concealed carry permit, which not everybody who carries a gun does, obviously, but they know whenever they pull up on the car whether or not you've got a concealed carry or not. So you might as well come clean.
Just tell them.
If you're legal, because they should already know that.
100%.
Isn't that I didn't realize.
That's exactly right. So one time when I was with a different radio show, we were doing a live on the street broadcast. And we had a sheriff who was known for being very hard-nosed. His name was Sheriff Hagee, and he was like rounding up criminals left and right. Now, I was just out of college. Okay, I was 22, all right? And I had recently started participating in marijuana, passing. And so this guy, we have him out, the sheriff, and interview him. And the host of the show says, so if there was drugs in the area, you'd know about it. He goes, oh, yeah, I would. Here's my canine. Well, the canine comes out and goes right to my car and starts sniffing it. And he's like, rawr, 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 rawr. And the sheriff goes,
he's hit on something.
Yeah. And the sheriff says he's hit on it. And he goes and pulls a bag of weed out from like where the hubcap is. And my eyes got huge. And I thought,
did I leave that there?
It was a prank. But
the cops planted it for show?
They planted it for show.
Because your co-host, your host told you to do it.
He told them
to do it.
And the sheriff said to the deputy, hook him up. And they put me in the handcuffs. I was like, oh, my God. They got me. It was a prank. Two guys named Chris Show. Rock 92. Now, that prank took years off my life. That because
you wasn't sure.
I wasn't quite sure. I mean, in the back of my mind, I was like, this is a prank.
That can't be my weed, can it?
But listen, they kept it going for 15 minutes. And I was like, they're putting me in a car. I mean, they had me in handcuffs.
Store it there and forget it.
They were like, duck your head, boss man. And then finally,
in the back seat.
Yes, in the back, and then they all start laughing. And they take me out. They had brought it from their evidence because I almost confessed. I was always like, "Yeah,
I was getting high.
I went to Appalachian."